You're watching us. We're not alone. Hey everyone, this is Andrew from Prizebox Productions, and welcome back to YouTube Expeditions, where we confront fear to find the truth. Now, if you remember last week, I said I didn't intend for the video I did to be the one that I did because I was feeling sick, so I didn't have time to work on some of the stuff that I was going to do for that video. Also, I managed to get some time to actually finish working on it, and that's what this video is going to be for now. It's going to be slightly different. It doesn't involve a reaction, but it does involve investigating and looking into a claim that was made not too long ago, basically. So this is how it happened. While I was looking for material, I found myself on Twitter, and I found this article from Living List, and it reads as follows. Top secret U.S. Air Force base contains a vast complex with aliens, former worker claims. Now, this definitely piqued my interest because I've had experience with seeing UFOs myself. They usually take the form of like green fireballs in the sky to take off at high speed, but I think they're just, but being this skeptical person I am, I'm just gonna assume those are just my eyes playing tricks on me or something like that, because usually when I see them, they're early in the morning when I'm tired, so my eyes are just adjusting to the light and everything, and they're just sort of seeing things. But anyway, I'm kind of getting off topic here. Back to this. According to the researcher, whose name is Raymond Szymzanki, during his first years at Wright-Patterson, he was hazed, basically the same way a lot of people who work there apparently are, according to him, where they basically come to you and go, hey, you, do you know about the aliens? And usually they go and say, oh yeah, we got aliens stored in the base somewhere. It's really freaky. So eventually he just sort of took it as like, you know, a little haha joke thing. So that's basically where it left. But then another person came up to him and said, hey, you want to see the real aliens? And this is where the story goes a little bit off the rails, because according to him and this unnamed person who he never seems to give the name of, as far as I've been able to see, he takes him down to a secret basement area that goes underneath the Air Force Base's parking lot. And in there, he finds the bodies of the aliens that died in the crash at Roswell. And after this, things apparently were not too good for him, because he apparently was harassed by the Men in Black at one point into staying silent over what he saw. Evidently, it didn't take because he didn't eventually wrote a book about his experiences. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking about it. He also talked to news outlets apparently, because again, I wouldn't be talking about it if he decided to keep his mouth shut. So I wanted to look into the claim to see how accurate these are. Now, according to the records I was able to acquire, he did, in fact, work as a researcher at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. According to records I was able to track down, he worked in the avionics laboratory of the Wright-Patterson Aeronautical Labs, I guess. That's basically what the record says. And he did, in fact, work at the base. He was there. He worked there for a long time. He worked there for a long time until he ended up retiring. It really makes me wonder, because the fact that some guy took him down to a top secret level of the base where national secrets are held, and he wasn't even like a member of the military or the government or anything. He was a researcher basically that was sent there to, I guess, work on avionics technology. I mean, you could probably make the claim that, oh, they wanted him to reverse engineer alien technology, alien spacecrafts, which I'm guessing he was no good at because we don't have flying cars or anything, and we have a defunct space program. So I don't think he was working on that, considering that all they mentioned is that they saw the bodies of the aliens. Now, I do have to wonder how he was able to keep a job there despite, you know, being exposed to national secrets, and the fact that he essentially would have violated several laws by doing so in this case. And he never mentions the name of the guy who took him down there. Like, I mean, maybe he didn't name him to like protect his identity or something. I still have to wonder who in their right mind would have just taken a random civilian contractor down there to go show him alien bodies that nobody else was supposed to know about. And there's a little nitpick thing here about the book that he sells with these claims in it. And I mean, it makes sense that he'd have to just kind of like it makes sense that he might have to kind of fudge the story, I guess, because in this case it helps sell books, and he doesn't work at Wright-Patterson anymore. So it makes sense to try and do this. I mean, even if he was selling a book that was completely accurate, the Men in Black should be still harassing him, or probably would have killed him by now. So I don't. So it's like where I start out. Like, it's when I first heard about this, I was sort of like 50-50. Like, maybe what he's saying is true, because there are secret government programs that existed and were carried out. I mean, there was COINTELPRO that was carried out by the FBI. There was MK Ultra carried out by the CIA, where they conducted human experiments. There were secret government conspiracies like Contra and Watergate, and like I said, it's possible that they had something that they were hiding, that they didn't want anybody to see. But the fact that we don't know the name of the person, we don't have the account of the person he spoke to, we don't have a name for that person. The fact that in order to do this, he would have had to violate so many protocols and so many laws in the process that he really shouldn't have kept his job for as long as he did. He should have been fired and probably kept under heavy surveillance, or probably even jailed at this point. And the fact that because like I said, the Men in Black, even if they were just like AFOSI or something like that, trying to keep this from getting out, they probably would have just imprisoned him or jailed him for going into that area, considering he would have definitely violated some laws in this process. So I'm leaning more toward like probably 90-10, like 90% it's everything he said is bull. And the fact that he has to say all of this in order to sell a book and go on like UFO alien conventions and stuff like this to speak to people about these things, and he gets paid, and I'm assuming he gets paid for them. I mean, it makes sense that he has to keep saying this in order to get money for it. But I don't find his story at all believable. There are too many problems with it. So I call bull on it. Like, I really don't think that they're aliens, like, imprisoned under Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And I definitely don't think he saw anything, because if in order to do something like this, he'd have been in jail, or he would have been fired. I mean, look what Edward Snowden did. Edward Snowden's probably going to go to jail if he ever comes back to the United States. And he didn't, and that was probably far less. What he did was probably far less severe than what this guy more than likely did, because we're not supposed to know about aliens according to the government, or at least according to the government conspiracy people. So yeah, that's why I think this whole thing he says here, and this whole story I basically researched into, is complete. So with that, I'm gonna end this video here. So be sure to check out my other videos, with PrizeBox videos, with our channel's PrizeBox Gaming and PrizeBox Friends. Thanks for watching. Stay jamming, everyone.